I tried to do that.
I found out several years ago, quite by accident, that the larger fly I used, the bigger shad I caught. And I started, I wasn't catching herring anymore. I don't want to mess with herring. You know, they're in bad shape. We need every one of them to survive going up the river and spawning. So I'm using anywhere from a 1 to a 1/0 hook for shad. So by going with larger flies, you can eliminate the smaller fish. Plus, by having a larger fly, you now entice the striped bass to eat because they're in the river the latter part of April going into May. So from about the second week of April up to about the second week of May, there's striped bass in the river. And last year, a fellow from Culpeper got one 36 inches standing right next to me. This Dr. Mud pattern came about because I snagged a minnow a couple of years ago fishing with something else, and while I had the minnow on the hook, I was looking at it and I started seeing all this iridescent blue, and that gave me the idea to add the peacock crystal flash to the pattern. When you're standing down in a river late in the evening, it looks like someone's throwing rocks in the river. You look downriver, and you see a pop, a pop, a pop. That's a school of striped bass coming up the river, and they're going on these gravel bars, and they're going after these mud minnows. If you wait 10 minutes, the little striped bass will go past you, because the first pops you see are what we call rats. They're anywhere from 4 inches long to 8 or 9 inches long. If you wait 10, 15 minutes, then you start getting into the teenage bass, and as the light level starts falling and the tide's coming in, you start getting the bigger bass. But that's why they're in there. And these gravel bars are covered with these minnows by the thousands. So that's why that's a good little streamer pattern. You'll notice that there's no weight on that fly. You don't need weight on a fly to fish the Rappahannock River for shad.
All righty. Okay, tie it through.
You're not fishing for trout here. You're not fishing for a fish that's really particular. So ugly flies catch just as many flies as pretty flies.
They catch as many trout, too.
Any feather pretty much do. So turn my vise over and start on one side and just lay it on there. Take a little turn. You don't want to pull too tight because it'll roll it.
What length are we looking at?
It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
Because these minnows come in all sizes and shapes and lengths.
So about how long you want this to be?
Doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. Some people would stop here and trim the butts off. I just wrap over them. Doesn't matter.
Yeah, this one goes past the eye, though.
And if you're having trouble with the stems of your hackles rolling over, take your bobbin and spin it backwards and make your thread flat rather than round. And you'll find that they don't roll as bad. And you don't need a whole lot of tension either. Too much tension will roll it. Okay, then I just lay it up against what I have on there already to get an idea of where I need to snip it. Lay it in and just take a loose wrap, another loose wrap, and then some tighter wraps. And you got your feather back in there. Then I put some brown over top of that.
Over the top of it.
Green top has stuff.
Okay, now I'm just going to lay a couple brown ones in there.
Richmond, you putting this on the side or the top?
On the side.
On the side.
Everything's on the
I got a
side.
couple of brown ones there.
And you'll see why in a minute when we get to the bucktail. And I put a little brown on there because the minnow's brown.
Yeah, a lot of these come from India.
If you got a rotating vise, it's nice to be able to rotate the fly over, see what the other side looks like.
And that just goes right over the top of the,
On the sides. It's on the sides, not on top.
Right beside the white one.
right beside it, okay?
On the outside of the white one, how's that?
Yeah.
Is that a better way to say it?
Yeah. Okay, once I got to this point, in order to make the fly a little more durable, I put a little cement on it at this point, right in here. Then I grab about 3 strands of this crystal flash,
You like blue?
peacock blue, because of the way,
Actually, that's Smolt Blue, isn't it? That's Smolt.
yeah, smolt. So I wind my thread up forward towards the eye. You grab your crystal flash, bend it around the thread. See how I'm doing it? I got it bent around the thread, pull it in, give a couple of wraps, take your scissors,
Oh, that's the, they made it around just.
Yeah, that's the peacock, but he's using Smolt.
I call it peacock. It looks like peacock blue to
That's the
me.
peacock, though. I mean, they call it peacock.
Did
And
you
then-
like a blue?
This is blue, I don't know what color blue it is.
So now you got strands down both sides. Yeah, the sheen on this little minnow that we're trying to imitate is on the sides, not on the top. You got to realize any bait fish is always lighter on the bottom and it
Darker
shades
on the
darker
top.
as it goes up to the dorsal. So that's how you want your fly to appear.
This blue just well to work on.
Okay, then I wrap forward, and I left enough room up forward to put my deer hair on. Okay, you get your deer hair, just get a small piece of it. This is for the belly, so this is going to be white. Grab it at the back end and pull and get rid of all the shorts. Get all the shorts out.
This is white, right?
Yes,
How much?
just a little bit for the belly. Rotate your fly upside down on your vise. Measure it in so that it just comes to the barb.
You didn't use a stack on it, did you?
No. Now you put a loose wrap, another loose wrap on the bucktail, because if you pull down real hard on bucktail, it flares out. So you put just a couple of loose wraps, and then as you go forward, you get tighter and tighter and tighter and tighter, and you got it. So there's your little belly. Rotate the fly back up, and then you get your brown bucktail. Now I got my brown, and I'm doing the same thing. I pull all the fluff out, all the shorts. That's all that under hair. All that fine stuff is what makes a deer nice and warm in the winter time. And now we're going to lay this on top. And actually, it's going to be on the sides as well. Okay, we got our loose wrap, another loose wrap. Now I'm going to take my thumb and I'm going to press down on it, and it's going to distribute the bucktail around the sides. And then as we go towards the eye, just start tightening up, tightening up, tightening up.
No, stole it.
I did, yep. But somebody stole it off of me, so it's not my fault anymore.
Okay, now once you got your deer hair in, I'm going to make a little head on here using the thread, and that's where you're going to put your eyes. Get
You
your,
kind of roll that around the.
Yeah,
Yeah, okay.
you just stick your thumb on there and press down on it,
Yeah.
and it distributes the hair around. Then you get your Mattarelli whip finisher. Easiest one in the world to use. Whip finish. Snip it off. Get your head cement.
Get your head together.
Darn, static.
Lick it good.
And then I take my head cement and I reinforce my deer hair. And then if your crystal flash is a little too long, you just come in and snip off those ends. And there's a fly that'll catch a lot of shad.
Stripers too.
Stripers too.